right. You guys get a new view now. Mashallah. Interesting. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me or no?
Yes,
I
we
can
can.
hear you.
Mhm. Yes.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, we're on your way. We just
Oh,
finished
okay.
prayer.
Okay, I see. I see. I see you now. All right. Sorry about that, guys. This is the human touch of Afia Collective, you know? It's not as clean as maybe everywhere that you'll find on the internet, but we're all friends. All right. So the I was talking about debts. So if you have a long-term debt, so that's a debt like a mortgage, these are payments that you're going to be making. Car payments could potentially come into this, right, too. Um, but you have like a mortgage payment and it's more than 12 months, then you can subtract the upcoming payment. So if the next mortgage is $3,000 or something, $2,000, whatever it is, you can subtract that amount, right, from the zakatable wealth. Okay? But you can't subtract the whole mortgage. Just like that next payment, that month's payment. What about people living paycheck to paycheck without really any? I mean, it's a person like that is yani, we could have a million answers for that. It depends. Like, so the person like that, the question is, did they come into the nisab? So nisab is about $8,200. So did they ever have 8,000 $200 in the account or the equivalent of that at some point? Um, if they did, they would go through this process. They'd mark down that day, they check back in a year. If they check back in a year and they still have that amount or more, they would pay zakat. If they don't, then they don't pay zakat. So I'd imagine most people living paycheck to paycheck probably wouldn't meet that standard, but it's possible. I mean, some people live paycheck to paycheck and they make, a lot of money. But I guess I would need more details. But they go through the same process. They go through the same process. Remember that zakat is also like not very much. Like it's not much money. Like you're talking like if you have $10,000, how much zakat do you pay? Divide that by 40. You're talking about 250 bucks. It's not a small amount, but it's not like paying taxes. It's not that huge of an amount. And like if a person struggles to pay that all at once, they could pay it slowly over time, so but they would go through the same process.
Study. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you're giving zakat to the person, do you have to like tell them, "Hey, this is zakat money," like or do you just give it to them with having the intentions
Yeah,
and tell them? Do you have to tell them?
it's a good question. No, you don't. You shouldn't tell them.
Okay.
Yeah, but as long as you know, like when you give it, you have the intention in your heart. This is zakat. That's what you need. You shouldn't tell them because it'll be maybe it'll make them feel bad or something, and oh, like you think I'm that poor or something. It might make you have no requirement to say anything, and it's probably gonna hurt their feelings. So
Okay. Jazakallah
they
khair.
don't even have to know that it's you. Like you could just like put it put it in like, in their mailbox. Inshallah, they live in they'll get it safely, or like have someone bring it to them and just it just says on it like from someone who loves you or something, or just like from someone in the community. Hope this helps. So what is the nisab amount? We said it's 20 gold coins, which were dinars in the time of the Prophet, which if you calculate it out today, it's about $8,293. That's pretty high now. The number used to be about half, like 10 years ago. Inflation. So where do we get that from? It's that the 20 dinars were about, if you take 20 dinars on time of the Prophet, they would come out to about 87.48 grams of gold. And so if you take that number and you multiply it by the price of gold today per gram, it'll give you about 8,293. Okay. So that's when I say nisab right now today, I'm talking about $8,293. Right? Like if today was like a due date, you would say, do I have $8,293? That becomes the question. Okay. We'll talk about shortly, like what do you include in this calculation? Because you might say, well, I I own my house and that's way more than $8,293. We'll talk about that. Like you don't include the house in your calculation for this. And then there are two types of nisab. There's nisab that requires you pay zakat, which is called nisab wujub zakat. They got cut off for some reason. So there's an amount of money that when you have it, you have to pay zakat. The second one is an amount of money that prevents you from receiving zakat. So there's a category of people, for example, they don't have enough money to pay zakat, but they also are not really poor to receive zakat because maybe they have a second, maybe they're cash poor, but they have a second house that they don't really need, like they just like a second house, or they have a second car, or a phone that they could sell. They have all these things, right? And if they were to sell them, they would basically probably have to, probably have to pay zakat. That person does not, they could not receive it. So some people, they're cash poor, they're asset poor, or sorry, they're cash poor, but they have like a second house, a second car, something like that. That might prevent them, right? Once you calculate the value of those things, that might prevent them from receiving zakat. So I'm going to give you a case. Say there's a person, they have $5,000 in cash, and they have nothing else, no other wealth, no gold, no, just $5,000 in cash. Okay? Well, that person doesn't have to pay zakat. They're below 8,293, right? But they also have two cars, and both cars are worth $5,000, right? Can that person receive zakat? No, because they could sell one of those cars, the second car, and get $5,000 for it, and that's going to put them at 10,000 now. So they're above. So while they don't have to pay zakat, they also can't receive zakat. Okay, so there's a category like that. Inshallah. So, okay, what is included in the nisab for paying zakat? Say you're like, okay, I want to see, do I have to pay zakat? What wealth do I include? So everything here is what you would include. Number one, cash. And that's dollars, that's pounds, that's lira, that's rupees, that's whatever you want, whatever. And any currency, right? Any of these fiat currencies, cash would be included. Okay, and that's going to be the majority for most people. Like, they're going to be cash and then maybe some their stocks and stuff, maybe some gold. So cash is included. You got to pay zakat on cash. And then gold and silver, right, is included. And in the Hanafi school, this includes all the gold and silver in your jewelry, even if you wear it. Right? In the Hanafi school, there's no exception about, oh, if you wear it, then you don't have to pay zakat on it. In the Hanafi school, you have to pay on all gold and silver. Bitcoin, you have to pay zakat on it. And many other cryptocurrencies, you have to pay zakat on it. And if you want more information about crypto and zakat and stuff like that, check out Islamic Finance Guru, IFG. It's a really good resource for this. Then you have to pay zakat on trade goods. So these are things that you buy with the sole intent of resale. So say you run a cell phone store and you buy cell phones and cases and whatever. So all these accessories. These are trade goods. It's like inventory. You bought them to sell them, right? And so if your due date came around, you would have to take stock of your inventory. Like what do you have? How many trade goods do you have? You calculate it according to the market value. What's the market value of the iPhone 16 or the iPhone 12, whatever you have, right? And you come up with that number and you pay zakat on that, right? And so anything could become a trade good. Like I could buy this water bottle and want to sell it, and so I'd have to include it in my right? But if you're not looking to sell it, then you don't pay zakat on the value of a water bottle. You just use the water bottle. But once I want to sell it, it's almost like it's gonna be cash soon, so you pay zakat on that. This would include like a car dealer, stuff like that. They'd have to pay zakat on the value of their fleet of the cars. And then money lent out, when you lend out money to someone, you give them money, which of course in Islam you don't do it with interest. You just give someone money and they'll pay you back. So say I lended someone $1,000. Um, I'd have to add that $1,000 to my account because I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. And so I have to include that in I don't subtract it. When I lend out something, I actually still include that money in my calculation. It's a little counterintuitive for some people. But yeah, it's because you know it's coming back to you. Unless you forgive it, unless you say, "Khalas, just, just keep it," you know. Um, but again, if you lent out $1,000, how much is that going to be in the end? $25 of zakat. Next, stocks. So, stocks, um, they represent what are stocks? They are that you're buying a portion of a company. Very small portion typically, but you're buying one share in the whole company. So, because of that, when you're doing that, the company has cash, it has gold, it has trade goods, it has other things too. It has equipment maybe. So some of their assets, some of the things that represent the value of the stock, we don't pay zakat on, and some of it we do. So what do we do? The scholars they come up with every year, they come up with a number. They say you do have to pay stocks, but only on 25% of the stock, not the full amount. Because 75% of the stock are like things that you don't pay zakat on. And about 25% are things that you do pay zakat on. So if I have $100,000 in stocks like this, then I'd probably be paying 2.5% on 25,000, right? Because only 25,000 represents zakatable wealth. The other 75,000 is not zakatable. Okay, so your stocks basically you have to pay on some of the stock, not the whole thing, but some of it. And then the 401k, there's two positions in the Hanafi school. One is that you have to pay on the 401k on the total amount every year. And then the other one is that you treated it like the stocks, 25% of it every year. And so this is what's included. I know there'll probably be questions here, so please feel free. Inshallah ta'ala. If there's any questions.
So is it actually 25% like this year, or were you just giving that as an example?
Yeah, so that was last year. I was actually supposed to I'm gonna look it up this morning. I forgot to look it up. Let's look up NZF. Rocks, yeah, stocks. Yeah, it's still 25. 25%. So, yeah, there's your answer. No worries, guys. You guys can all head out if you
And
need.
then I had one other question. So you talked about the debts that you have, like long-term debts.
Yeah,
You said you only would subtract 1 month's payment, not 1 year.
just the upcoming payment. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, not 1 year, just For long-term debts, which is anything more than a year,
Hmm.
right? You're going to pay just the upcoming payment. But if it's less than 12 months, right? It's less than a year, then you can subtract the entire amount.
Okay. Sure.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustads. I have a
Um,
question regarding some gold jewelry.
yep.
So, I'm from Bangladesh. So when we buy gold there, it's like 22 carat, 21 carat. So it's like resellable. And here I have found, so I am studying PhD. This is my I have been here for 4 years, I think. So here we get some jewelry. We buy some jewelry. This is like very odd, like 11 carat, 14 carat, that I cannot actually resell. So, do you have any idea, like, if I don't add those, because I don't have actually the resale value, or even the ring, those are, they say, diamond, and like those have some silver. So I don't find actually resale value. So should I previously I excluded those jewelry
Yeah, so the
from calculation.
yeah, so the resale value of the piece of jewelry. Oh,
Ye-
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. Keep going. Go ahead.
No, like I was confused. I paid I think 2 years. Then I realized, okay, I cannot actually sell these because these in case of ring or earring, both, though some are titled 10 carat, some are titled 14 carat, but it's not like resale. It doesn't have resale value.
Yeah. So the resale value is not relevant. What
O-
matters is just the gold and silver itself. So we don't care how many carats or anything. It's just, is it gold? Is it silver?
Okay.
If it's gold and silver, you measure it. So you can take it to a jeweler and say, "Hey, tell me how much gold is in this piece, how much silver is
Mm,
in this piece." They tell you, okay, in the end, it's this many grams of gold, this many grams of silver,
mm,
right? And
yeah.
then you just pay on that. So the resale value, we were only talking about that when it comes to trade goods, which are things that are not gold and silver, things that are like a water bottle, a book, a computer. These are things that if I owned a computer, I don't pay zakat on the computer value, right?
Yeah.
But if I want to sell it, if I'm like shopping it, then it does have a market value and I pay zakat on that. So
Okay.
gold and silver is just it's intrinsically zakatable. Like if you
Uh,
have gold and silver,
mhm.
it's the only thing that gold, silver, cash, like these things are like intrinsically. I mean, gold and silver was the original wealth. It is wealth. So it's just intrinsically zakatable. So you would have to just your responsibility
Mhm.
is to just find out how much gold is in the jewelry, how much gold
Okay.
you own,
Okay. Okay.
how many grams, and then enough silver as well. That's the goal, and then you pay on that. So you have to, and then you would look up like, okay, on your due date, right? You just say, okay, I have this many grams of gold. What's the price of gold today? You can look it up online. Price of gold today in grams. It'll give you the number.
Yes, even
Find
those
it out.
carat doesn't show the price list, doesn't show in the price list. I don't have any idea whether they have something in this country for those, like if I want to measure, like, for price for 10 carat or 14 carat. I should actually search for that actually.
I'm not sure I understand. Is that was that a question or?
Yeah.
I didn't
So
understand it. Yeah. Can you
so
rephrase it?
yeah, for gold, it's like for different carat we have different price. That I was saying.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that the price of the jewelry, we don't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't care about the price of the jewelry. We care about the gold. So the gold itself
Mm-hmm.
has a value, and the silver itself has a value on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to just find out how much gold do I own, how many grams, how much silver do I own.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care about how much the jewelry is going to cost. That doesn't go into zakat. So like if someone had, for example, sister, like um a ring that had no gold or silver and it had diamonds and rubies and pearls.
Mm-hmm.
There's no zakat on that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're trying to sell it actively. Like you put up you are it's a trade good for you. Like you're selling rings.
Okay.
Then you would pay on the market value. But if you're not doing that, you just own it, there's no
Mm.
zakat, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so are you trying to sell these pieces, the gold and silver jewelry? Are you trying to sell them? Is that the issue?
No, I don't know. We follow this system in our country that when we have some gold, we value it in carat, like how much carat and how much weight. Then we deduct probably like from the current market price, we deduct 10% or 15%. Then we pay 2.5% of that price to estimate the sale value, like to estimate the zakat.
Why are they subtracting 10%?
From the market price, because when we use the gold, the like they say that they will buy that at less price, so that is like our system in our country. So they deduct market price value, uh, then they calculate zakat on that.
And is it like are the ulama the ones who teach this, or is this more of like a culture? Is it like
Yeah.
scholars who teach this, or do you know?
Mm, so I don't know where this system has come from, but we always do this,
Yeah.
like to estimate the value, like how much this gold value.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not aware. I mean, Bangladesh is a Hanafi country as well, so but I'm not aware that you would uh do it in that manner, but
Mhm,
maybe there's another something I'm missing.
mhm.
My understanding is just a little bit it's a little
How,
bit
how is the suggested calculation for gold zakat?
sorry.
What is the system for calculating zakat on gold?
I just weigh how much gold I have.
Okay,
And
okay.
then I just in grams, and then multiply that by the price of gold in grams. So
In the market.
yeah, so like today, right now, if you go on, it's $94.85 for a gram of gold, right? So say I just take that number, I multiply it by how many grams I have. That's how much I pay. I pay on that amount.
Okay,
So
okay.
say I had 100 grams of gold. It's 94. So now I have what's it called? 100 grams times 94. It's gonna be
Mhm.
like $9,400. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
pay 2.5% on $9,400. That's how it goes. I've never heard the carrots
Hmm.
having a relevance, whether it's this carrot or that carrot. We just care about gold. Is it
Oh,
gold?
yeah. Yeah, Carrot has different gold price list actually. So even when I was asking the question, I got the idea. Yes, I could actually search for the price. Even in Google, I have just searched.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting. Okay,
yeah,
I can look into that. That's
yeah.
not it's never been something that's come up
Hmm.
in among like when we talk with ulama and stuff, but
Okay.
I might have missed it.
No,
I'll look
what
into it, inshallah. Yeah. I'll look
asking
into it.
you the question, this has
Yeah.
also come up to my mind. So now I am finding 10 karat gold, $39.26 per gram. It has just come like in general information
Okay.
from Google. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll look into it, inshallah ta'ala, and I can get back to you, inshallah. Yeah.
Okay. Jazakallah khairan.
Wa
Assalamu
iyyakum, alayhi salam, inshallah. No worries, guys. If you have to go, no worries. What if you don't remember when you first got the Nissan amount? It was years ago. Yeah, we're gonna get to that, inshallah. That's the next thing. So I'm gonna answer your question by just going to the next slide. How do I determine my due date? So you have to estimate. You have to estimate, and you're probably not gonna be perfect, but you have to just do your best. And as long as you do your best, and you say it's probably, I think it's this or something around, then you just choose that and you move forward with it. So how do you do that? You're going to consult your financial records, your bank accounts, your investment accounts, debts, loans you gave out, maybe gold, silver that you had. You're going to have to like go back and make this determination. And then you're trying to find out when is the first time that I came into possession of, basically 88 grams of gold. And the reason I say 88 grams of gold is because that's really what we're looking at. If you got this nisab years ago, then it's not going to be 8,293 bucks. It's going to be probably a lot less. So you have to find out what was the price of gold a year ago? What was the price of gold? And then like, okay, you tell yourself, I started working at this 2018 or something. And you know, I'm gonna go back and check what was the price of gold back then. And then I get like a ballpark. Okay, it was maybe it's 60 dollars a gram or something. And then you make that calculation, say, okay, it's like something like 5,500 bucks, something like that. So you're just looking to you have to go and you have to basically calculate the grams of gold, 88 grams of gold, what that price was in each year, until you find it. So that's your goal. When did I first come into possession of 88 grams of gold of wealth? So it's not that hard, to be honest. I think I just chuckled in a way that makes it seem really hard. It's not that hard. It takes time. You have to work at it. And if you need help, I do. I've considered like offering this as like a service to people. Like I've done it with my friends. Like I help them figure it out and determine their due date because the whole obligation of zakat relates to your due date. And unfortunately, when we don't know our due date, it can make a difference. Like we could actually be underpaying potentially. Um, and we could be overpaying, which is a better situation. But underpaying is a problem because we're not paying at all. So you have to go through your accounts, try to determine when you got this. And then once you find that first day, okay, the first time I came into 88 grams of gold, I marked down the date. Then I move to step two, which is I wait a whole year. I check back on that same date. Maybe it's the 12th of Ramadan. Maybe it's the 17th of Sha'ban. Maybe it's the 13th of Muharram. Whatever it is, you check back a year later. And if you still had 88 grams of gold, right, of wealth or above, you had the nisab, then you pay zakat on what you had that day, right? And you would then just do the same for every year. You go and you check what was the next year, how much wealth did I have in all my accounts, and you move down the line. And then you go and you try to determine, right, how much was actually due, and then how much did you pay? That's the last step, sorry. So how much was due from you? Say I looked at my accounts, I was supposed to pay 125 bucks in zakat. Or yeah, 125 bucks in zakat. And I only paid 80. Okay, so what do you have to do now? You pay the 45 difference, right? Now, if you overpaid, then everything you gave above is just going to be considered sadaqah and you don't have anything to worry about, right? But if you underpaid, um, then you have to make up the difference. So Shayan, let me know if there's any questions on this. But this is kind of in relation to your question. وإياكم وإياكم. Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I got actually another question.
Yeah.
So my family, me and my husband, we have like just bought a land in our country. So previously it was like we gave the money like uh, gradually, not like whole money together. But this year it's like we got the registration done for the land. So do you what should be the ruling? Should we pay zakah for that because we have already got the registration?
So you
What?
own the land, and
Yeah.
what are you doing with it?
We just bought the land with the purpose to make a like community house, like 12 friends together. We have like goal to make a house together, like the building, community building
Yeah.
type.
You don't pay zakat on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I paid before because we didn't complete the registration. It was like monetary the last year.
Yeah.
But this year it's like registration is done.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, so you never have to pay, so you don't have to pay on land you own. You have to pay on revenue that the land produces. So if you rented it out, then of course the money you make,
Mhm.
you would pay zakat on that. Or like if you had agricultural produce, then you would have to pay zakat on that.
Okay, sure.
Or you have livestock, you might have to pay zakat on that. Or you bought the land and you want to you're shopping it, you're selling it. Like you bought it it's a trade good for you.
Mhm.
Then you have to pay on that. But if you're just buying it to use it,
Yeah.
right, and to
Yeah.
develop it, then you don't pay zakat on that. Wallahu a'lam. But like this is not. Otherwise, we would all have to pay on our houses, like
Mm.
pay zakat on the value of the house, and that's not the case, right?
Yes.
That's not how it goes. So these are seen as um, uh, like a house, for example, is seen as like this is a a necessity base. I need to live somewhere, right? So you don't. If you have a second house, you still don't pay zakat on it unless again you're like renting it out Airbnb or whatever. Then the money that's coming in, you pay on that. So same thing with your land. You don't have to pay zakat on the value of the land. That's the end all be all of it in the end.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Great question. Someone asked, what if you give significant amount of money to a poor person without the intention of zakat? Okay, very good. Intention, you have to have intention when you give. So this is a good question. But when your due date comes, can you include that in your zakat money? No. So a condition of zakat is that I have to have intention when I give it to them, okay? And the only thing that's excused is like if I went to the street and I gave money to a guy, okay? And I didn't have intention, but I could still see him. He's walking and I know he hasn't like I'm pretty sure he hasn't paid it. I see him walking. He hasn't used the money, right? At that point I could retroactively be like, okay, ya Allah, that's zakat. I intend that as zakat. But if I gave money to someone and like an hour, 2 hours passes, I don't know where they are, and beyond, then no, I can't retroactively make that zakat. It has to be given with the intention of zakat. And they can't have spent it. They can't, I have to be reasonably sure they have not spent it in order to even do retroactive. Right? So make sure you intend everything you give as zakat. Yeah. And that's a matter of the heart. So it took an extra hour. I apologize, everyone. But inshallah, that was of benefit. And maybe there are more questions that you have. Feel free to reach out with your questions. You can email us at afia dot collective at gmail.com. Um, I'll put it in the chat, inshallah ta'ala. We're also on Instagram if you guys want to message us there. And then those of you that are students, please feel free. But yeah, and then if you are if you're one of the foundation students, you can ask these questions in our Padlet, inshallah, or on the Telegram chat. But for everyone else, inshallah, feel free to reach out to the email, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. Everything that is good is from Allah, and all the mistakes are my own. And remember why we learn all these rulings. Why are we learning all these rulings? Why? Because the Sharia matters, because what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us of this guidance matters. And when we learn it for Allah's sake and we apply it and we do what's right for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is our spiritual path. This is how we get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So never belittle the knowledge of fiqh. Never think that this is not important. This is the most important knowledge, because this is how we are able to have taqwa in our day-to-day interactions, in our Ramadan, in our zakat, in our salah. And so I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards all of us for being here and for inshallah taking some benefit. And may Allah forgive me for my shortcomings. And then we'll end there inshallah. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Jazakallah khair, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, of course. Thank you for
Wassalam,
coming.
Habibi.
Allah bless you all. Wa alaikum assalam, Khalid. Inshallah, I'll talk to you in a bit, Khalid, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.